Once again, from a guy that beats his wife. Here's why. When I first met you, I knew you were the one. You were my life, my land, my ocean, and my sun. That'll fuck me up. But I can never tell you how I feel inside. And only to show you, girl, so you better run it down. 'Cause I'm gonna kick you in the face with love. Give you a roll right across just to show you how I feel. I'm gonna kick you in the face with love.
And we're back to another episode of Crossroads Comedy Project. I'm Josh Sardam.
And I'm Mish Shalosh.
And today we are back here at the wonderful Comedy Off Broadway. I absolutely love this place. This is our home store, and we've got a guest today who's been killing it this weekend, and we're very happy to have him. Chris Porter's here with us.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I thought the feature was here.
We couldn't get the feature, so we just thought we'd get you instead.
He lives an hour away.
Yeah, and he said no.
And he said, damn it. I thought this was part of the press junket.
Chris is a native Kansas guy. He's from Shawnee, Kansas.
That's right.
Yeah. And we got Kansas playing today.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a tough game, but I'm looking forward to it.
Jayhawks going to pull it out or what?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. This is not a very strong Kansas team. We lack size and depth. And so every game is a huge question mark this year.
That's funny. That's what my ex-wife used to say about me, that I lack size and depth.
I read the court documents. They were in there.
It was right in the transcript.
No comment, Josh.
Then they talked about it on Pardon the Interruption, which was weird.
That's great. Yeah, man. So we love you've come back here now. This is what, your second time you've been in Comedy Off Broadway? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. And everybody was real excited to see you back here, especially I myself, which was really funny. You were like, "Yeah, I remember you last time." I was like, "No, I wasn't here last."
You weren't even hanging out?
Probably not. No.
Maybe it was just another
fat old bald guy.
Probably. I mean, it's not like those are hard to find in Kentucky.
Exactly.
To be fair.
To be very fair.
I mean, there's actually rallies full of you guys.
It's
in
so true.
Parts of this state.
No, it's totally true. And they kicked me out when they found out I was Jewish. They were like, "Jew? What the fuck? Go back to New York City, prick."
When you were trying to do the Klan's taxes, they were like, "What the fuck?"
That's fucking awesome. It's true too. But
the fuck is a commission?
What do you mean?
I'm just playing on the joke more. Yeah,
you just go with it.
That'll happen.
It does. It's
called writing.
He's go on the stage tonight and be like, "So this fucking Jew." No.
This is like one of two states where you could get away with that,
right? Because
they'd be like, "Yep, go on.
Yep,
go on.
We're with you.
I'm already relating."
Yeah.
Like, I know this fucking Jew. He was hanging out with this fucking Palestinian dude.
We couldn't believe it.
In this room, they'd be like, "Yeah, he sat us. We know you're talking about." He smelled like money. Yeah, I know.
Do you know what's really weird is like people in like that are racist like that have no idea which one to hate more out of the two of us. They're like the Jew or the colored guy.
Oh yeah.
No, it's funny because when we get our emails, we don't know which person they're trying to insult.
They probably don't either. They're just
they don't either.
I'm just typing blindly. They'll figure it out.
Man, so you got a hell of a tour coming up here. You're all over the place. You're even going to Alaska soon, right? And you said you do that once a year?
Yeah, once. Yeah, I think I took a year off, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun. When you do malls most of the time. It's fun to go up to Fairbanks, Alaska, and go to these like roadside bars that were obviously at one time like a biker gang's rape den, and Jesus, but they've gone legitimate, and now they're just a bar with occasional rapes, I'm sure.
Just occasional.
And but yeah, and you do these shows, and it's, you know, they're super appreciative. There's one show because like, you know, most of the time you go, like when I come here, I do like 5 shows at one place. Well, there
Right.
you do like a show here and a show over there, and then 2 shows here and then 2 shows there.
Oh, that's kind of neat, though.
Yeah, and so like one of the shows is like the Alaskan version of like from Blues Brothers, like Bob's Country Bunker. Like it is, they
have both kinds of music.
they
there.
have both kinds of, like they don't have the chicken wire, and instead of glassware, they're just blowing cigarette smoke at you,
That's awesome.
which I'd kind of almost rather have the glass,
right? Yeah, doesn't stick in
because
your
your
clothing.
clothes don't smell like glass.
Right. So, like when you're up there in Alaska, are you like a big you like crab? Because I mean, you're at the home of like, you know, Alaskan king crab, and from what I understand, it's more inexpensive there. Not that inexpensive though. I
I'm
heard.
sure Fairbanks is real inland.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it's super inland. So,
But do they not have?
I don't. You know what? I don't even know. To
Oh,
be
really?
Honest with you. You know, here's the thing: when you go, you know, they don't have shows during the summer because it's, you know, 3 months, and it's the only time they can go outside without
Sure.
dying.
Right.
And so most of the time when you go, it's balls cold. So you usually are taken to a grocery store and you stock up, and then you hunker down.
Oh, I see.
And then they come and get you, and you pray to God the car makes it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still sounds really neat though. It's definitely an
it's
exotic.
awesome. Like I saw one time I was up there, I watched the Northern Lights for an hour,
That's got to be really cool.
and it was just, it was the coolest thing in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, solar flares bouncing off the earth. That's just friggin' badass.
Yeah, especially when you're fucking high as a kite, and you're
Oh,
just
that's-
like, what is happening?
That's probably how they tricked them to actually come up to Alaska to do shows.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dude, come take our bombastic Alaskan weed.
Yeah.
That's right.
It is pretty great. Not gonna lie about
It is
it.
pretty great.
Now we know why he goes up there every year.
Although one year they were like, we can't have you back. The hotel doesn't want you. Because they're like, if you do smoke, you have to smoke outside. I was like, okay, that's fine. I just thought you guys were cool.
It's like, what's with all the guns? You just said,
Yes.
tell me, I'll go outside. Shit. Friggin' looking up at that stuff. All of a sudden, a scene from The Lion King comes up, and you're like seeing words up there.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, it has to be. I've never seen it, so I always
Oh,
wanted
it
to.
is without
Never
a
seen
doubt.
Lion King?
No. The Northern Lights.
Oh,
thing,
about
Don.
to say, what world you live in?
It
Did
is.
did you get stoned before you came into the podcast? All right.
No, not yet.
You can be honest.
Or after the show.
All right. All right. So aside from being a big Jayhawk fan, what other things does Chris Porter like doing?
Let's see. I play a lot of music.
Like musician?
Yeah.
What do you play?
I play guitar and I sing,
Oh, fantastic.
and I do CrossFit.
You're a CrossFit guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
I don't really talk about it. I mean, but you asked.
Yeah, I did ask.
Like I literally, we've known each other for 3 days. and
Right.
It's the first time I've brought it up.
That's true.
I'm
Good
not
job,
a
Josh.
normal CrossFit guy.
What's a normal CrossFit guy?
Well, like most of the guys that I go to CrossFit with, they get to go 5 days a week. With my schedule, that's not an option.
Sure.
They're like, they're way into it. They eat well. They do what's called the CrossFit Open, which is happening right now, where it's basically like every Thursday for 5 weeks. Every Thursday, a workout is announced, and then on Friday you do the workout, and then you compare your scores to the rest of the world.
Oh, I see.
And it's fun is what I've been told. But I'm like, and they're all like, hey bro, you gonna do the open? And I'm like, no. We're here different reasons.
Right.
Like you're here for that. I'm here so I can eat queso and not die.
Yeah.
Like I just like CrossFit. It's fun.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't mind the culture. I'm not into it because I don't have the time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and I also don't like eating well. Like that's why I'm working this hard in the gym,
Sure.
is so that I can eat Jimmy John's on the road.
Yeah. You're making the payment so you can
Yes.
have
Yeah.
the good stuff.
But I do that. I'm way into sports. I'm single now, so I'm dating again. That's new. I'm making an effort at that just because.
No, you were you married or you just had a girlfriend?
I dated a girl for 2 years.
Gotcha.
And yeah, and then I didn't, and so now I'm dating other people.
That sounds like the life, though.
It
Single
does.
and Jimmy John's.
Single and Jimmy
It's
John's.
not. I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah.
I love how you said Jimmy John's. Like Jimmy John's is me eating healthy.
Jimmy John's is like is a staple for me because listen, this is what I say to everyone about Jimmy John's. Is it the best sandwich you ever had? Not even close.
Not even close.
But it is the same sandwich everywhere you
Yes.
go,
Yes.
every time.
Yes.
You know exactly.
And they
what
will
you're
deliver it to you.
getting. Sometimes, and most of the time, you just get normal delivery, 20, 30 minutes.
Right.
Sometimes it is freaky fast. Like there have been a few
Yes.
times where I'm like, you're already fucking here?
Right.
Yes.
It was 7 minutes. Google said it took 12 to get there.
He's got a point.
Well, we made this sandwich for somebody else and they canceled. So.
Yeah, you literally ordered the same thing as Gary, but Gary died.
Gary ate Jimmy John's one too many times, and he doesn't do CrossFit.
I
So.
mean, like, and people are like, "Oh, you can't support Jimmy John's." Sorry, I'm gonna. Like, I
Yeah.
know I've given. I actually did the math because I do my own finances. Like, I think I gave Jimmy John's like $1,500 last year.
That's
And,
awesome.
like, I definitely killed a rhino. You know what I'm saying? I definitely financed the killing of some endangered species.
Well, I think I know right now I don't look it, but I used to teach CrossFit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in 2010 I had a bad car wreck, and my back is gone now, so I can't really do it anymore.
Yeah,
But,
back's a big part of it.
Oh yeah, but I taught at the police academy.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was a cop in Florida.
That's awesome.
So,
How was Michael Winslow at CrossFit?
Michael Winslow.
Yeah.
He kept making the noises,
He
but he
did?
wouldn't do anything though.
Just stop doing that and snatch already.
Snatch.
He's next to you going. You don't have 4 legs. What are you doing?
I'm not a robot. Stop making the noises.
Well, you
And I don't have that much gas. Stop it. He's like, I'm not making any noises like that.
well, what's funny is our first sponsorship we got was from a CrossFit gym here.
That's true.
In Lexington.
That's true.
But they required us to actually show up and do it.
Oh yeah,
So we
Deal
had to-
breaker.
Yeah, we turned that
Deal
down. That was a deal.
They didn't
breaker.
even have like a hit class you could do, like where you didn't have to do.
Well, I said,
Olympic
why don't you all
lifts or
just
anything?
give us money and
Yeah.
we'll talk about you guys? And he said, no, you guys have to come in and weigh in and stick to a schedule and then document it on the air and everything. He was,
Oh, like he had his own idea of what he wanted.
well, they own a CrossFit gym here. And it's pretty
Yeah.
popular, but
But it's one thing just to say, "Hey, go do CrossFit." That's
no, he
that's-
wanted us to actually do it.
Yeah.
So basically what he was doing was calling us both fat and said,
Well,
hey,
I mean,
Well, I know I'm fat, so
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
well, I am too.
I wouldn't-
Jason, he has no shame. He tells me all the time.
right.
yeah.
Quote, I get text messages all the time. Quote, where is your fat ass? Why aren't you here? You know.
He sounds like a dick.
I mean, he does
He
watch our
sounds like
show.
a guy that owns a CrossFit gym.
He
He
listens
does,
and watches
yes.
our show.
I bet he's
you know, so.
I bet he's a vegan too.
No, he's not a vegan.
Oh, he's not.
But he is hardcore. He does all those.
That I don't understand. Like people that are like, "Oh, I'm vegan and I do CrossFit." I'm like, "How are you
How?
alive?"
Right. Because you need protein to
A
replace
lot of it.
A lot of it. Yeah.
I've gone over there and they have those competitions. You were saying dudes there with like clipboards and stopwatches, and
Yeah.
they're doing their national thing. And I have no idea what's going on.
I used
but-
to destroy people. God, I was a beast. I mean, I
Like
was.
in competition, or you were just a dick-headed judge?
No, because I taught the academy, so
Yeah.
I get the new guys and the recruits, line them all up, and I would just work them out, and they'd be ready to pass out, and I'm up front going, "Come on, pussies!"
Yeah, it looks so easy. Like you look at the board and you're like, "Oh yeah, we'll get through it."
No, it's
Even
hard
now,
shit.
after 2 or 3 years, I'll look at a workout and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, this will be fine." And like round 4, I'm like, "God damn it, what is happening?"
We would do we would do stations, and they get to like station 4, like, "All right, what are you gonna do here? 50 burpees, go, motherfucker!"
Those are soul crushers.
Oh, they're awesome. They're so awesome, and if you do them right, they will destroy you.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
and the problem is they're really good for you.
They are. Whoever thought that getting up and getting down was so important, but it really is.
And at the end of man, about burpee 74, that's exactly all you're thinking. You're just like, just go down and get back up. Just go down. And that's all you got to keep doing. Why do I do this?
I'm going home from here, and I'm going to have McDonald's. Yes, I'm going to do it,
Yeah.
damn it. Something that'll just totally kill you. So how long have you been playing guitar?
19 years.
Wow,
19
okay.
years, yeah. I had a cover band in LA for a short time.
Nice.
And then my road schedule kind of nixed that.
Yeah,
It's hard to be a cover band with no lead singer.
that's very true.
And then I was fortunate enough, I got to record some music with Johnny Colt,
Nice.
who played for the Black Crowes and Train and Skinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then Peter Keys came over and we recorded some music in Atlanta in
Very
December.
cool.
So
That's very cool.
we'll see what happens.
Have
with
you
all
ever
that.
incorporated your music in your comedy?
I tried to, I used to do shows at the Improv in Hollywood, and me and my buddy would do like a little acoustic set while people sat,
Okay.
and it just confused people.
They didn't know what they were supposed to do.
they were like, oh, this is fun, and then like the show would start, and then we'd come back up as comics, and they're like, well, what the fuck is this? So, and it made the show weird, and
You ever think about writing like a comedy song?
I wrote one, and it just came to me. I was watching Springer or Maury or something, and a girl was getting her ass kicked all the time by her boyfriend, and finally someone was like, why do you stay with this dude? And he was like, because she said, because he loves me. And so I was high in a hotel room, and I was like, maybe she's right. Maybe he does. And, a guy in love would write a love song. So I wrote a love song from a guy that beats his wife to his wife.
Very
And
nice.
it's called "I'm Gonna Kick You in the Face with Love." And it's on YouTube. If I had a guitar, I'd play it for you. But
We're gonna have to do that one day.
But,
By the time you're here.
That
what
would
was I'll sing a little bit for you. It was
All right.
when I first met you, I knew you were the one. You were my light, my lamp, my ocean, and my sun. I could never tell you how I feel inside. I could only show you, girl, so you better run and hide. 'Cause I'm gonna kick you in the face with love. I'm gonna donkey punch you with devotion. I'm gonna kick you in the face with love. I only hurt you 'cause I love you. And 'cause you're stupid.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
So, yeah. And
That's really
I think
good.
there's another verse that's you can watch later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seriously though, you should contemplate doing that on stage, man. That's great.
Yeah, definitely not in these Weinsteinian times would it go over as well.
Yes, that's true. I've never heard anyone you call it Weinstein.
Weinsteinian times.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of comics out there doing really dark shit. Anthony Jeselnik is like the darkest motherfucker.
But I don't, and so it'd be weird just to do like an hour of the material I do, and then all right, here's a real dark song I wrote. That's kind of weird.
Well, a lot of your stuff's pretty angry,
Oh, yeah, it's very angry, yeah.
I almost feel like that would kind of fit into the vibe, and I think if people know you and understand where you're coming from, they're not going to think like you're actually like that.
Yeah, maybe. Then I'd have to start bringing a guitar with me. I'm already bringing merch.
That's totally true.
Starting to get lazy here.
Well, we had Donnie Baker on our show, and I know he has his band.
Oh yeah,
and
the
they're
Pork Pistols.
The Pork Pistols, and they're pretty.
They're
They got
freaking
some funny
hilarious.
shows.
Yeah. Well,
Have you ever seen Ron Sexton when he goes up and does Donnie Baker and all that?
no, I know Donnie Baker. I haven't seen I haven't seen the band yet.
It's worth a look if you just look up. There's a song called "Let Me Stick the Tip In." The song's hilarious, and the premise is that they're getting ready to pay.
They're at a restaurant.
Yeah, they're in a restaurant, and Donnie's offering to stick the tip in. Of course, he's talking to the waitress when he's saying it. So,
Oh, it's double entendre.
Yeah.
I get it.
Entendre.
I get it.
funny shit.
Multiple layers.
Yeah. So, what's a really good road story with like some of the comics you've worked with? Every comic's got one.
A really good road story with some comment. Nothing comes. Well, that's the problem. Is like I'm kind of a lone ranger. I don't really travel with a lot of people all the time.
You never worked with any of the like?
I mean, at like festivals and shit.
Yeah.
But like, I'm trying to think. When did shit get weird?
When did shit get weird?
I think the weirdest shit that happened was me and Ben Glebe and Tone Bell and a bunch of friends of ours. We rented those Sprinter limousine things, those Mercedes box vans, basically, that are all pimped out. We rented one of those when we went down to San Juan Capistrano, something Spanish. And sorry.
No, sorry, it's funny.
And saw Corey Feldman live do his music.
Oh, really?
And that was insane. Corey Feldman had his band, and he did the Today Show,
right?
And he like broke the Today Show website. I was enthralled, and I was like, I need to see this live. And so he did his warm up tour, and we were at night one. This first show, 13 comics. Steve Byrne met us down there. We showed up fucking wasted. And watched Corey Feldman for about 90 minutes, and that was a complete shit show. Like, his band came out, which is all girls, one of which is his wife. His wife kind of plays keyboards, but I think she basically just presses play on the backing track.
Sure.
And, like, we were wondering, is this going to be, like, 2 songs of funny and then an hour of sadness? But no, every song there was another fucking train wreck that you're like, no way. Like, at one point, he does a 4-minute intro to a song, and then he looks down at the set list and goes, oh, wait, that song's not next.
Oh, God.
Here's this song. Then 4 songs later, he goes, hey, remember that song I did the long intro for? Here it is. So then we're all like, why don't you just play it then? So then his wife comes up and she does a tune, and she is like cartoon awful.
Oh, God.
Like Office, Parks and Rec style, like awful.
Oh, wow.
Awful.
Jeez.
And then Corey comes back out and introduces the band. He introduces the bass player, and he goes, she does not play bass. She's a guitar player, but she's a cool chick. And I asked her if she'd play bass. And like his own words, she was like, so she's going to play bass. Right? So she's playing bass. And she's not real good at it.
Everyone was on drugs.
She doesn't play it.
I think they were beyond drugs.
Then he goes, we're going to do a tribute to one of my good friends, Michael Jackson. Hit it. And this girl, the look on her face was just like, she kind of looked at the audience and was like, I'm sorry for what's about to happen.
Oh, my God.
And then like hung her head in shame and began to murder, not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Billie Jean.
Oh, God.
One of the most iconic bass lines in rock history.
Agreed.
And so you're already like, we all feel bad for her. Like, you're already fucked. Like, because whether you can't play that bass line, but you know when someone's fucking it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she did. And then Corey started playing drums. And if there's one thing he does worse than sing, it's play drums. And so, yeah, it was just a shit show, and it was hilarious. And then we all got back on the bus and went back to L.A., and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's the weirdest night I can think of right now. I'm sure as soon as the podcast is over, I'm like, motherfucker.
You should have told that story.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get that story the next time you're on the show. That's all. That's not a big deal. God, the whole way home, you guys must have been like, man, that sucked really bad.
I remember the way home, we were all going, that was the greatest night of our lives.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us were on Molly, but still.
Okay.
I mean, we were all wasted. Listen, I mean, because most of the trip was in this limo van thing, and
Right.
we were all just having a great time
Sure.
playing songs. And that was it. And then by the time we got there, it lasted just long enough to where you're like, I'm kind of over this. And they were doing the encore. And we're like, fuck it, let's get back on the bus. And so, we were all like, because he was coming back around. We were like, we're gonna do it again, and we didn't. But yeah, it was good times. It was definitely good times.
Now, did you start comedy in Kansas, or
Yeah,
you did?
Yeah. I was in Kansas City for the first 7 years of my career.
Yeah.
I stayed there. I saw a lot of comics, especially early on, like do like 8 months of Kansas City comedy and then move to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And all but one of those dudes moved back.
Oh, really?
Rick Ingram stayed and is still doing comedy and still doing well, and but the rest of them moved right back and
Yeah.
still live in Kansas. So I didn't want to make that mistake. I didn't want to move out too soon, and so I just did it until I literally ran out of shit to do in Kansas City,
Yeah.
like comedically.
You just like outgrew it.
I was headlining the club.
Yeah.
I was starting to open at the theaters for like any act that came through.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm done here. So then I got in my car and I drove to LA.
So it was L.A. was the choice.
Well, I went to New York. I checked it out for sure. And I went in the middle of January because I was like, I want to see it when it's at its worst.
Right.
Because I'm always a worst case scenario guy.
Yeah.
Like plan for that. So went to New York in January, realized New York is a fun place to be with money.
Sure.
Not a cool place to be broke. LA, still not a great place to be broke, but at least the weather's nice.
That's true.
And there's a little more free shit to do. Like
Yeah.
you can go to the beach, that's free.
Yeah.
You know, you just walk around on a nice day. So I just figured that was my logic. If you're gonna be broke and depressed, it should at least be sunny.
Somewhere nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I've always loved LA. When we went out there as kids, my aunt and uncle lived out there. I was like, why don't we live here?
Right.
It's 70 degrees all the time. There's just this palpable energy. My parents were like, go fuck yourself. So, you know, and I'd always in the back of my head, it could be cool to live in California. And then when I became a comic, I was like, well, that makes more sense now.
Sure.
So, yeah, for whatever reason, I think California's always kind of called to me.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And the music scene's definitely vibrant out there, so that helps out in one of your passions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in it, but yeah, it's definitely cool. The great thing about living in Los Angeles is every concert is coming to Los Angeles.
That's true.
There's not, living in Lexington, me growing up in Kansas City, you're like, well, fuck, they're not coming here.
Right.
And so, yeah, and there's a lot more cool shit that goes on there. Like, the Rolling Stones playing a rock club and all that kind, and that happens more times than you think. Just weird pop-up shows. And I've never made it to one, but just to be in a city where literally anything can happen on a given day.
Yeah.
Including your own demise.
I mean, isn't that the place where, because the U2 concert was sold out, then they filmed that video on that building, wasn't it in L.A.? Because people couldn't get tickets, so they're like, well, we still want to entertain people.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't follow YouTube.
This back in the 80s, they went up on a damn building, like in the middle of one of the busy intersections, just started performing. Where the streets have no name.
Oh yeah,
and like the crowd was huge, and the cops had to shut them down. I'm like, you can't do this.
You can't. Come on, man. You gotta. That cop comes home from work. How was your day, honey? Fucking you too. I don't even want to talk about it.
He's like, well, I'm going to my mother's. Okay, and that's how that divorce started.
Did you meet Bono?
Yeah, so I was in New York just last week, and yeah, I can't live there. Horrible. I was there for 5 days, and
you tried doing any stand up there?
I didn't do any because my convention was pretty busy, so I was working most of the weekend. But
work.
I had to work. I didn't have a choice. But yeah, I just can't live there. You got to have a shitload of money.
Yeah,
it's not. The weather was okay. It wasn't that great.
No, the winters suck.
Yeah.
Didn't Michael Dell just like spend like $100 million on some penthouse apartment?
Who?
Michael Dell.
Isn't he the mayor?
No, he was
like
the owner
Dell
of
computer
Dell
guy?
Computers,
Oh,
yeah.
Dell.
$1 million or $1 billion?
No, it was like 100 million.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Who the hell? 100 million? Do you? Fuck.
Yeah, and it's like, are you going to get that back? Probably not.
No, I mean,
is there some guy that's like, all right, I'll give you 101?
right,
All right, well, that covered escrow.
right.
But I didn't even try. Like, I was going to try, then I was just like, God, it's just the weather wasn't great and there's traffic. It was annoying, but I'm going to LA in a couple weeks, so I'm going to try to do something over there.
Fucker.
What? You want to come?
Yeah, I do. Damn it. New comics going out to LA. Where do they go?
I don't know.
He goes, I don't know.
It's not like I live there. Fuck.
I got real lucky moving out to LA. 6 months later, I got Last Comic Standing. So
Yeah.
I knocked down
How many years comedy were you doing before you got that?
7.5. Like I moved out to LA.
Cool.
And I moved out to LA in August, and then auditioned in December. Auditioned in December.
Nice. And you made the finals of that show, so obviously it went pretty well.
I got to the end. Yeah. So
awesome.
and it also it blew all those doors open for me. Like
Yeah.
and also working the road, like all the improvs are somewhat connected. So it's, if you make the right phone call, someone can usually get you a spot at the Improv if you built yourself up enough of a reputation. You
Sure.
can usually do that. The Comedy Store's tough. There's national headliners still trying to get in that room for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, the Laugh Factory, I don't know, is a weird thing. But you can you just have friends, and then they'll recommend you for like some weird ass bar show, and you'll go, and it'll be awful, but you'll be like, I performed on Sunset Strip, bruh. Man, I love that shit. Like whenever comics come back from LA, just got back from performing on Hollywood Boulevard. You're like, yeah, I've done that gig. You performed for 3 people.
Yeah.
And so yeah, for young you just gotta go hang out, and it's a long journey.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a drag, and a lot of people. This is what happens. People are big fish in small ponds. They move out to LA, think they're going to change the world, and realize they're just one of 1,000 big fish that moved out there.
Sure.
And some of them get frustrated and don't want, and have too much of an ego and don't want to deal with it. And they move back. And I think Kevin Hart said it. LA's undefeated. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, if you move home, you're not doing Los Angeles a disservice.
Right.
We don't need you.
Right.
So it's like, if you don't want to fight again, if you don't want to start from zero, then don't fucking move to LA or New York, because that's what, no matter how good you've done in wherever the fuck you're from, it's all reset.
Right.
It's how it is.
Yeah, and that's one of the comedy is something that will never happen very quickly for anybody. I mean, when a comic, like we had a comic come on the show, and he told us that his second day of being a comic ever, he opened for Cedric the Entertainer and was paid $2,500. Yeah. And he and I both looked at each other and were like, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't give a fuck how naturally funny you are. It just doesn't.
And what opener's making $2,500?
No,
this was like in the early 90s,
Yeah,
too.
he said 92.
Well, maybe in the 90s, because that was
Well,
towards the end of the
we
boom.
did some research, and it was all bullshit.
Yeah, it was complete bullshit.
That's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird a comic would lie about stuff.
Yeah, right?
On a,
Comics don't lie.
on a podcast at that.
Yeah, he drove
Say-
3 hours to be on our show.
Right.
Why would you lie?
Someone drove 3 hours to be on a podcast. You
Yes.
should immediately not trust that person anyway. You asked me to do this. I was like, not during the game, motherfucker.
Well, I remember I texted you, right?
Yeah.
Because most of the headliners that we do will want to do it before the show.
Yeah.
But he said 3 o'clock. I said that's kind of an odd time to want to do it, but that makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
I said 5, and Chris goes, well, let me see what the game is, 4:15. No. He
I
goes,
blame you.
he goes, can we do it at 3? I was like, fuck yeah, we do it at 3. It's no big deal. Fucking
And thank you for being accommodating.
nah, dude. I mean, we try to make it as convenient as possible.
And if we had been playing fucking DeVry, I wouldn't have given 2 shits. But it's a ranked game, and
right.
if-
Well, don't
if
feel
I'm
bad. I
not
really
watching,
want to
they'll
see your
lose.
comedy, but I'm actually going to miss your show today to
Well,
the UK game.
You're
so
making
don't
a
feel
donation to the cause, so
Well, I'll come
I
tomorrow and
appreciate
see
it. Well, no, you won't.
No,
'cause
you
I
won't.
won't
There's
be
no
here.
show.
No,
Oh, there's no. Oh, that
there's only 2
sucks.
tonight, and he's done.
Yeah.
Oh, usually there's a Sunday show.
There's a Sunday show usually.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, Ian Beck had a Sunday show last week.
Yeah. I don't draw enough.
You don't draw enough. That's not true.
No, but I'm happy to. I have a 3-segment flight home for some reason. So
Ooh,
Oh, that's rough.
yeah.
Back to LA.
Yeah, I get to make a big fucking check mark around America.
Jeez.
What is it? Lexington, Charlotte, Atlanta, LA.
Do you
Oh
ever?
God.
Yeah,
Do you ever think they'll have comedy at airports? Do it ever be a thing?
I do.
Because I've thought of that because I was just traveling back. I was like, God, it wouldn't be cool. I'm sitting here and
First off, no, it wouldn't. No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be cool for anyone. It wouldn't be cool for the comic.
No.
Can you imagine just up there telling your jokes as people walk by?
but could you imagine the shit show? That would just be fun to watch.
Or just some grandma stays and watches and just boo. Boo. I remember I was walking through an airport and this poor bastard had to play guitar on a one-man stage as people walk by. And I, like, as a musician, I was like, that. I feel bad for that dude.
Yeah.
Because no one's listening. No one gives two fucks about him.
Right.
He might as well be like a mechanized mannequin or something, like just like a Chuck E. Cheese robot or something. And I just and he's got to do it for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine who's also a comic owns like venues in airports because he was one of the few comics that didn't blow his 80s comedy money on blow.
Right.
And like he invested it into like GNCs and shit.
Okay.
And he's like, hey man, if you're ever going to Minneapolis, I can get you a gig playing in the airport. You can just play covers. I'm like, fuck no. I'd rather dole out hand jobs of all of America.
Which is an actual position.
It is. It's
Funny
right next
enough.
to Build-A-Bear.
Right.
I can't tell if you're telling the truth or just part of your set.
That's kind of
A
the
little
point.
of both.
That's,
You got me convinced.
well, it's just because you want a hand job, but
Well, I want
No
to
one
too.
first off, no one wants a hand job.
No.
People settle for them.
yes. And
But
it's
no
usually
one-
a sad husband.
No one goes in going, man, I hope I get a handy.
Right. No, that's totally true. You accept it just because it's somebody else's hand.
I don't
not
even
yours.
accept it.
You don't.
Like if she's like, I'll stroke you up. I'm like, I got that.
Right.
And I'm gonna do it a lot better than you will.
Yeah, man. You
And
just
there
sit
won't
on
be
your
as
left hand
much
for a
shame.
while, right?
Yeah. No shit.
There'll
That's
still be some shame.
Yeah.
But not as much.
Bert Crusher does a great set about that. Talks about how his wife is so awful at it that if like a burglar walked into his house and said that he's going to kill everybody in here unless he gets a hand job, Bert goes, I'd go, I got this.
Bert's so funny, man.
He's awesome.
He did a noon show while I was in Omaha, and it's weird to like, I've been doing it so long, and I learned so much from about 45 minutes of not so much watching him, but hanging out with him and having a honest conversation about comedy.
Yeah, he is super, super cool. Every time he comes in, we always go hang out afterwards. And it was actually because of him that we started this podcast. Because he looked at me and he goes, "You're a comic and you don't have a podcast." He goes, "You're stupid. Get a podcast."
Oh, well.
Do you get to actually hang out with him with a shirt on?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're blessed.
No, he just
He's a clean man.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, he's
you
the
know how
machine.
some fat people smell like fat people?
Do you think he'll do our show with the shirt on?
He will.
Oh,
yeah, Bert will
what fun
definitely do a
is
show.
that?
He loves
It's
to do
cold in
podcasts.
here.
Yeah. Well, he'll be here in a couple months, so I think he's
Yeah, a
here in
couple months.
April. Yeah. But so where are you going to be heading off in the next couple weeks?
I'm doing the Punchline in Philadelphia. That's next week,
Fantastic.
March 1 through 3.
Okay.
Cool.
Sunnyvale, California. And then Fairbanks, Alaska.
Very nice.
And then Dayton
You're
at the Funny Bone.
going back to Ohio.
Yeah.
Damn, you're doing full circle there.
Yeah.
Philly out west, north, and back to Midwest.
Yeah, there's literally no rhyme or reason to my schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you take care of all your management when it comes out, or do you have like an agent that does that stuff for you?
As far
or-
as my travel?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I book all that stuff. You can, most management companies, like they'll book your flights and you pay them like $50 on top of it. But I know what I want.
Yeah.
And also with apps now, it takes 45 seconds.
Right.
So it's like, I'm saving money, but B, it's like, They always think they know what you want, and they're always wrong.
Right.
They're like, oh, I thought you'd want to sleep in the day I'm going home.
Yeah, right.
No, I want to get home as fast as fucking possible.
Right, and then you can sleep.
And then I'll sleep on the plane.
Right.
They don't make me do anything on there. I have no responsibilities.
Totally true.
I just eat half a pot cookie and pass the fuck out. If I'm up for the first drink service, something went wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how good is that now in California where you got all those dispensaries? I mean,
Well, now that it's legal, it's kind of a pain. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been a pain in my fucking ass.
yeah,
Because the cards were pretty easy to get, like, especially if you went to the same doctor. And by doctor, I mean a guy in a hula shirt in a strip mall that has a medical degree. And like, you show up once a year, you'd give them $40. They'd take your blood pressure, and you'd have your card, and everything was great. And you had to, it was like a club.
Right.
And you had to pay dues.
sure.
Well, now anyone can go in. And I live in Hollywood, which is fucking tourist central.
Right.
So my dispensary, now it's like all these fucking tourists and like legitimate homeless people. And so I had to bounce. I was like, I'm not. And, because they're turning over such volume, the quality went down.
Oh, really?
And so I bounced. Now I get in my car. I used to be able to walk to my dispensary. Now I have to get in my car and drive to one.
A better one.
A better one.
Yeah.
One that I don't feel scared of,
I saw a documentary about one. It was like a boutique. I mean, it was.
They're all. I mean, they're literally like candy stores. The weed is in candy jars. It's under glass.
It looked amazing.
Yeah, it's everything you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like all of your Kentucky dreams
Yes.
are happening in California. Like
You guys are talking about, you all look like you're all in Willy Wonka over here.
but it is.
But it is.
It's like a candy. Genuinely, they're in giant. Like imagine you went into like a It's Sugar or whatever the fuck bulk candy store you go to. It's like that, but everything's under glass, and they're like, there's 30 different strains. There's indicas, sativas, hybrids, and everyone's super knowledgeable. They're like, yo, I want a indica dominant hybrid, or I want an indica, but I don't want to fucking go to bed. They'll be like, okay, this one and this one. And then they have every fucking concentrate, hash, shatter, edibles, vape, lube. There's weed lube.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's all like anything and everything you want.
I'm going to have to hit that up in LA. Just for the fuck of it. I've never been in one.
It's insane.
You'll be one of the people he hates.
And now,
Yeah, exactly.
now they're all wide open. You can just walk in with your out-of-state ID and be like, I want weed. And they're like, okay.
Was it a good thing they went legal or a bad thing?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's fine. It's legal. We have to pay a lot more tax on it.
Right.
Which is bad for us financially, but good for the state.
Right.
Because maybe they can get the roads into shape.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, I mean, it's good. It's great. It's just a pain. It's a pain in the ass more than anything.
Yeah.
And also, they're cracking down on weed dewees.
What's a weed
What's
Dewey?
a Dewey?
Driving under the influence. of
Oh,
marijuana.
okay. Okay, that makes sense.
So, my tweet was the field sobriety test for weed is they read you 3 Laffy Taffy jokes, and if you laugh, you go to jail.
That's awesome.
Because that's the thing. It's like, I guess there's some sort of enzyme swab they can do to see if you've smoked in the recent history.
Right.
But it's like if they do blood, that could have been any time within 30 days. So
Sure.
I think if you did get a weed Dewey in this time frame, if you hire a lawyer worth his salt, you're probably going to walk on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, man, this has been friggin' amazing.
Man, I'm learning
I think
so much.
I feel like
I've learned so
we've
much from this
accomplished.
podcast.
Now I know how Chappelle feels after a special. We've laid down gold,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
and now the world can rejoice.
Well, you got your own special, don't you? Comedy Central?
I do have a Comedy Central Presents. I used to be more proud of it than I am now.
What about your latest one?
The Ugly and Angry
Yeah.
is on Hulu.
Hulu. Yeah.
And then Lost and Alone is just audio. It's the newest one. And then I'm recording a new special in August.
Now, can people get that Lost and Alone on iTunes?
Yeah, and
Okay.
Spotify and all that shit. It's
Okay.
just you won't be able to look at me while I'm saying the words.
That's not the worst thing.
No, it's pretty good looking.
No,
I think we're all designed for radio, aren't we?
Yeah,
I've got a good look about me.
For radio, yes. We know.
yeah.
We talked
Or
about this.
selling cleaning products, or
Never heard that before. I've never.
or some sort of hooded sheet.
Damn. Can I at least put holes in it?
They better come with them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, in this time frame, this day and age.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Don't forget, you can hear this podcast on iTunes and Podbean and SoundCloud and YouTube, Twitter, Facebook.
Or just Google it and
Or
we'll
just
see
Google
everything.
it. It's
We're all
everywhere.
over the place.
And if you guys want to check us out or want to send us an email and ask us a question or ask one of our guests a question, feel free to email us at crossroadscomedyproject@gmail.com.
I love reading hate mail.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
You fucking Jews.
Yeah.
Oh, we love it. Hey, it means people are listening. They actually care.
Yeah. Hey, infamy is still attention. So.
Yes. There it is.
What?
No,
Sorry, I was reading headlines.
no, it's totally cool.
The Arizona coach isn't. They're not going to let him coach.
Oh, no?
That was a given.
He's
Sean
not gonna
Miller.
coach against Oregon,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy.
dude.
Did you hear about
Also,
that?
No.
don't talk about why are you. If you're the head coach, you shouldn't be dealing with that shit.
He was got on an FBI wiretap talking about getting a player $100,000 to come to
Jesus.
Arizona.
Yeah, to the fucking not the NCAA, the fucking feds.
It's a wiretap from the FBI.
Yeah, and they say they've got
So his career is over.
and
Well,
there's
he's probably going to look at some
This
jail
is
time.
the
Well, he's
first-
a top-notch coach. I mean, he's not a nobody.
and they're
Sean
like,
Miller is
this
huge.
is the first shoe to drop. They're saying like,
Oh, yeah.
Hall of Fame coaches will fall. over
Oh,
there.
shit.
yeah.
Well, they've already announced a ton of players that have. Some have done little things, free meals and whatever. Some have done a lot bigger.
Oh, shit.
But
Yeah.
it's
It's
this
they're-
player for Arizona is playing for Arizona right now, so he's probably going to have to sit as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's like leading scorer, top freshman,
Oh yeah,
like worth $100,000.
Oh, yeah. Like it was it was worth it.
They have the coach on the phone going, "Yeah, give him $100,000 so that
Yeah,
we're
this is
here.
not good.
Also, my name is
Well, my address,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bank account.
I don't know why
Social.
you need my social security number, but it's
here it is,
349.
right?
Apparently, this has been going on. A ton of the NBA players were saying that this has been going on forever.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah.
getting paid. Let's just make it legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
When that first came out, I have friends that played for KU, and they're like, "We're surprised our school didn't get popped."
Yeah.
So, like, if your school has an Adidas logo on their jersey, you should be worried.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
doubt.
yeah, because Louisville just fell. So
Oh,
who
yeah.
knows?
We got championships pulled. Jesus.
Yeah.
All right,
Crazy.
guys.
But hey, you guys have Calipari, who's always been on the up and up.
yeah.
I like the sarcasm in that.
Anyhow,
Hey, I was watching that game, and Memphis should have won.
Yeah.
And then Kansas hit that 3 to go in overtime. That was crazy.
I was on a flight to London.
oh shit.
Wow,
Yeah,
you missed
like,
that game.
I saw
That was an
like
amazing game.
2 minutes of the first half in like on a layover, as me and my buddy took a shot and a beer before we got on the big flight.
Right.
And then I landed and I had a voicemail from my dad, like the Jayhawks were national champions. And I was like, well, great.
If you had watched that, I mean, Memphis had that game won. It was crazy.
One of my really good friends is a huge Memphis fan, and it scarred him for life. Like he still talks about it. He can tell you the date it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day when Tennessee came back and beat the Chiefs in the playoff game,
Right.
I was like, that makes up for the KU thing. And he was like, the fuck it does.
Oh shit. All right, guys. Itch, got anything else?
No, I think that covers it.
Got anything else, bud?
God bless America and small puppies.
There you go.
There it is.
Can't go wrong with that.
All right. Well, for Chris Porter and Ish Shalosh, I'm Josh Sardam. You guys have a good.
It happens so many times. You think you've seen it coming. When I get up and push you right down those stairs, just to show you what you mean to me. Yeah, now I'm gonna kick you in the face for love. strangle you from there. I'm gonna kick you in the face for now. I only want you 'cause I love you. You're coming out the kitchen, you best be bringing me a beer. 'Cause your dinner ain't ready soon. You're not gonna vote this year. Yeah, now I'm gonna kill you in the face now. I'm gonna donkey punch you with the bullshot. I'm gonna kill you in the face now. I only hurt you 'cause I love you. And 'cause you talk back. Cause you look fat. Kinda made me say that. I love you.
We shouldn't even be friends technically, but we love each other. So.
Do you think people like in your homelands like listen to this and jerk off?
Actually, we've got death notices before.
Get the fuck out.
It's not death.
Oh, heads will roll? What is that to you?
You know, they say that in meetings.
You can't wait until push play first.
Are you?
Oh, I'm ready. Go ahead.
All right, fine. Here we go.